Hi, John Michael.
Hello. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great.
Good.
It's the last day of our trip.
It is, yeah.
We're about to fly home in a
Yes.
few hours.
Yeah. So we stopped at Fort Laramie, Wyoming, site of the historic fort, also the site of the 1851 and 1868 Indian treaties with the Plains tribes, which were Lakota, Dakota, Cheyenne, you just go down the list. The Crow, the Mandans, they were all here, camped about 10,000 natives at this fort for the treaty. Red Cloud was one of the participants. I mean, over the years, I'm sure Crazy Horse probably came here. Sitting Bull probably came here. But also this was more or less the headquarters for the Plains War of the Northern Plains. Custer came through. Everybody came through here at some point. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, what do you think so far?
Yeah, it really is. I think they've done a really good job of kind of rebuilding the area,
Yeah. Yeah.
laying things out as they might have been at the kind of end of the use of the fort.
Yes, when it was retired in 1890, I think, and then it was sold to the public. The buildings were sold off, some of which were taken for building materials, which are usually the ruins, and some were just very dilapidated before the Park Service took over 40 years later. So some were able to be maintained, others were just beyond repair. Yeah, we're just enjoying it. We're about to go, what is it, 13 miles down the road
Yeah.
to see some Oregon Trail ruts. This was a major stop on the Oregon Trail. And it was about a third of the way through the trail that they arrived at Fort Laramie.
Yeah, so they would resupply here before they kept on going.
Yeah. Yeah, they would go into this door, I think.
Buy some goods and services.
Yeah. Betty,
Hello,
how are you?
welcome to the store.
Thank you. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be your own store. You get the other side of the state of Dakota Territory, or about 380 miles away, where you see Fort Bridger,
380 miles away?
roughly.
Yeah.
The last store, if you take your horse, if you're on a horse, it'll take you 2 weeks to get back there. It's going to be Fort Kearney in Kearney, Nebraska today. So better get your supplies here because you're not going to get it anywhere else.
Can you imagine?
So this is a pretty busy place because this is the only store you're going to see. Native Americans are in here. The people on the Oregon, Mormon, and California trails are coming through here. The soldiers are coming through here as well. So very busy. At one time, the guy running this place in 1852, he was making so much money, about $55,000 a year in 1852 money, $1.5 million in today's money.
Wow.
Yeah, not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all. And that's because he runs this store and he runs the liquor. He has the liquor license, so he has the officer's bar around the corner and the enlisted man's bar over there. He's got a toll bridge for people who don't want to cross the Laramie River when it's high. And it's about 16 feet wide, 253 feet long. He's going to charge you to get across that. He's also going to make sure that you get your repairs from him because he's got a repair store. And if you need new oxen because your old oxen are worn out, he's going to trade in your old oxen for brand new oxen for a reasonable fee of $200, $6,000 in today's money. And if your oxen don't get any better, he's going to sell those oxen to the United States Army as meat. So he's got some pretty good contracts. And pretty much everybody did come here. Custer was never here though.
He was.
Oh.
Okay.
He was not.
He didn't come south of Black Hills before he was headed west.
Nope.
Okay. That we were
He
sure
did
of.
not.
Okay.
Now his men, some of his men came from here,
Yeah.
but he did not.
Okay. When he was taking his expeditionary
Mhm.
forces west.
Yeah, the 7th, he was never here. They were at what became Fort Fetterman,
Yeah.
and they were up there at Fort Abraham Lincoln in North Dakota.
Where was Fort Phillips?
Fort Phillips? No, I know Fort Phil Kearny.
Phil.
Fort Phil Kearny is north of here between Fort Fetterman and Fort C.F. Smith. It's on Highway 26 today at the city of Sheridan, I believe. It's pretty close to that.
Thank you.
No problem.
So you could get axles, wheels, anything you need, more or less.
Yes, and all the guys that are doing the repairs, they work for him. Yeah. So if you saw some of these, well, at the time there would have been big wood buildings on the other side of the visitor center. Those buildings about 40 feet wide, 80 feet long. Those are the professional buildings. And there would have been people there who could fix your wagon, fix your wheel, fix your leathers, fix, shoe your horses, all that sort of stuff. And the quartermaster's warehouse was over there.
Yeah.
But all those went away in 1890 when this place was sold because everybody needed the wood. And milled wood was at a premium. So they tore the buildings down, hauled it off. Somewhere out in Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, that's where the wood went. Who knows where?
Where was the 1851 and 1868 treaty signed? I know there's photos of the 1868 at least, and they're in a tent, it seemed like.
Yeah, they're going to be across the river. Yeah, they're over there, sort of off to the right against that hill. If you go over there, you're going to see a wayside, and you can see the Native Americans sitting, waiting for something to happen. And you can match up the picture with the hill, and it just matches perfectly. Yeah. Now, the 1851 Horse Creek Treaty is about 4 miles east of the Nebraska-Wyoming border. There's a little wayside. Yeah, went away. What it was is that 10,000 different Native Americans were here. There wasn't enough food. Sanitary conditions were getting bad. They just had to move everybody away. They couldn't do it, and the ponies were eating everything.
I had to.
Yeah,
Just strip the grass for
exactly.
the next 5 miles.
Around, just like, okay, all the grass is gone. And they had to move just to keep everybody alive, and the ponies alive. So they moved down over there.
That's fascinating.
Now, Red Cloud, when he did come and sign the Fort Laramie Treaty, he signed it at a building unfortunately no longer exists here today. Yeah, the captain's quarters, the building, which would have been to the right of it, the 1868 officers' quarters, it's not there anymore. It was made out of wood, and off it went. Now, the captain's quarters that are there today, that's because the Sandercocks moved in. They bought the property, and Mrs. Sandercock became the postmistress for this area for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah. And actually, in 2 weeks, her grandson will be here talking about tales of what it was like to live at the fort.
That's neat.
Yeah.
What an experience. It's easy to be here now. Couldn't imagine it in the 1860s, 1870s.
Well, there would have been no trees anywhere, so it would have been very desolate.
Yeah.
You would have, and there wouldn't have been much in the way of grass either. It would have all been stomped down.
Sure.
So just big dirt area here. It would have been probably pretty depressing.
Yeah.
But all these products here, they would have put them up for sale, and they would have been pretty expensive because of all the shipping costs.
Would you have done any trade as well? So I imagine people originally brought things maybe with them that they're thinking, I no longer need this, maybe some of that really nice, enamelware over there, and say, I would really like cooking oil or flour or...
Well, I'm sure something like that happened, but the guy running the store probably knows they're going to dump it pretty soon. Somewhere around Casper, more than likely, and I'm sure that he doesn't probably want to trade with them when he knows he can pick it up for free in just a matter of a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Because there is a big pile of stuff outside of Casper. Books, stuff that, why did you bring this kind of thing? Stoves even, and things like that. There's a diary that I had read where they found one of these piles, and there was a stove there, and so they just fired it up and cooked a meal on the stove and just left the stove afterwards. Like, they can't do anything with it, but it still works. And so they're just using it out there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's a different time period. About anywhere from 350 to 500,000 people came across the Mormon, California, and Oregon trails. And so that's a lot of stuff coming through here, and a lot of people buying goods here because they need the food. You're going to need about 200 pounds of flour per person, 100 pounds of beans, and 100 pounds of cured bacon that you're going to have with you to make it across these big sections of land, because there's nothing out there. And you saw the old movies where they're hunting deer and stuff like that. No, and the deer are all chased away from the trail, and the bison aren't going to get anywhere near the trail towards the later part, because bisons are funny animals. They'll come up to a section where the grass is gone because the oxen have eaten it, and they won't cross it. They won't. The roads we think of like the old movies, everybody's in a line. No, they're really spread out, and those oxen are eating everything in front of them. So there might be a 2-mile swath of land with nothing to eat for the bison, and they'll just turn and they'll just follow the trail and not cross that swath of land. And so that really irritated the Native Americans, rightly so, because now they can't hunt where they used to hunt. The bison won't come up here. So there's a lot of conflict because of that.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So I like coming here every day, coming to work and learning a little bit more. Each day read something new and like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for your
Thanks
time.
coming out today.